Hello and good afternoon. Welcome back to another one. Blue is our city, Manchester City fan channel. And bro, we're going to tap into something heavy today, and that's going to be Manchester City versus PSG in the first leg of the semifinal competition. And it's going to be a doozy, y'all. It's going to be a doozy. I remember looking at Pep Guardiola's press conferences. He was talking about him not being able to sleep, thinking about Neymar and Mbappe. And at the point I'm at, bro, I can't even sleep either. I just want the match to happen because I'm so excited about talking about this match, but also watching it and seeing the talent that's going to be on this display tomorrow. It's going to be a star-studded affair, and I'm looking forward to it. So before we get into this, I want to say thank you to all the love and support that I've been receiving in this channel and trying to build out this community, especially to one of the subscribers that tapped in the other day, was mentioning the fact that he's over in Manchester and he loves the fact that I'm trying to tap into people who are over here already across the pond. And I said to myself, yo, that's what it's really all about, building this community to be able to connect with Manchester City fans. I don't care where you live in the world, but we're too individually siloed right now. And then if you're over here in America, bro, we want a little slice of the pie too. We want to be able to join with our brothers and our sisters that rep Manchester City to the fullest. So if you're liking the content, feel free to hit that like button, and if you will, consider subscribing to the channel on our road to 100. I definitely appreciate that. But most importantly, get at me in the comments and let me guys know what you guys are going to think about for tomorrow's match, Manchester City versus PSG. So let's get into this match, bro. And my microphone is kind of getting a little crazy there, so bear with me 1 second. But the main thing I want to talk about really is the fact that obviously this is going to be a big match coming in tomorrow. We already know that they have Mauricio Pochettino, and I'm still not over it. I don't care. You know, we've already played this guy in the Champions League. It was in a quarterfinal. Now we're playing him in a semifinal match. But we also know how he tends to set up. And I really believe it's going to be very similar to the Tottenham match that we saw a few years ago. And what I mean by that is when you took a look at that first leg in that competition back when we played them back then, it was a very defensive type of performance. And then the second leg was just all out explosive offense. And I believe Poch will set up something very similar. One thing that you know about PSG is not only do they have the talent of people like Mbappe, Neymar, Di Maria, Drexler, you know, they got talent everywhere. And then I even hear that they're going to have other players back, Marquinhos, Kiembe. So they got talent everywhere. But we know that Pochettino has a propensity, especially playing against Manchester City, where we want to dominate the ball as far as possession. He will be so comfortable, just like you saw with Bayern Munich, to be able to sit back and say, yep, we'll soak up all the pressure. But then as soon as we get that opportunity where we have Neymar go on the counterattack, whether he in the central part of the midfield, whether he on the left, whether he on the right, the only thing we got to do is limit that, because I'm telling you, they have a propensity to sit back and allow those 4 players out of the 6 to get forward. And that's what they're going to try to do. So my standpoint in this match is I think we need to score, bro. We're going to be taking on Paris Saint-Germain in Paris in the first leg. We need to be aggressive in this game. And maybe Pep is thinking that he might want to be a little bit more strategic, but I'm telling you, we need to score goals. If we know we're playing against PSG, they have a propensity to score anywhere from 2 to 3 goals per match. If you look at how many goals they score on average per match, you might end up around 3. Well, with us, we're probably around 2 right now. So we need to kind of be a little bit more aggressive as far as our approach. And I would love to see Pep go offensively in this game, offensive talent going forward. But I do think that he'll be a little reserved in that approach. But what I'm really thinking is that we need to be strong. We need to be trying to get goals any way we possibly can, because we need to turn a disadvantage into an advantage. And that's one of my talking points here, is that when you think about playing in the Champions League over 180 minutes in 2 legs, you got to ask yourself, and I turn this over to the fans watching, or the people watching this video, is that would you rather be the team that plays at home first, or would you rather be the team that is on away first? And I would like to possibly, for me, I would love to be the team that plays the away leg second and I'd rather, not have to worry about certain things. Like, for instance, like when we go into playing against PSG tomorrow, the one thing I'm thinking about is if we can go there and we can score goals, that gives us that huge away goal thing. Where Paris Saint-Germain, they kind of look at it as like maybe they have an advantage. They'll say, yo, we'll play here in Paris. We'll try to not let the score get too crazy. And then when we go to Manchester in the second leg, then they can say to themselves, yo, if we get goals in Manchester, it's over. I always like that position. So being that we don't have that, we need to turn a disadvantage into an advantage. And how are we going to do that? We're going to do that having to score goals. And Pep may be strategic in his approach, but he also talked about this too in his press conference. I hope you guys tuned into it, is that you can't really prepare for these type of people or these type of games. The reason why is that when you're talking about exceptional talents like Neymar and Mbappe, yes, you could have an idea about how to contain them, but stopping them, that's just not going to be a part of the plan. And they will create counterattacking opportunities. They will have chances. And Pep Guardiola in his press conference talked a lot about, being strategic and trying to have the ball and all of this other stuff. And I'm like, bro, I don't care if we go out there and have a lot of possession, but we need to be trying to score. And that's what I'm thinking about with this game. But like I mentioned too, it's going to be a star-studded affair. When you talk about the brilliance between Neymar and Mbappe, I look at some of our brilliance. Our brilliance can be displayed in a number of different ways. It could be Kevin De Bruyne and then Ruben Diaz's leadership that he's taken upon the team this year. So I'm really interested to, figure out what that's going to look like. Another talking point I want to talk about is what decisions are made in the midfield. And I think that this is where this leg is going to be won. This is where this tie is going to be won. Forget the first leg or the second leg. Overall, it's always going to come down to midfield. And you can argue that it's going to come down to scoring goals, but we talk about how we create those goals or how we stop goals, if you will. So the way I look at it, especially in the midfield, when you talk about Pochettino's got a plethora of different options. I even hear the Italian pest is back, and I always call him a pest because Verratti's good at what he does. He's good at what he does. He's very pesky, you know what I mean? He's almost like their version of Ferner. Like Ferner's better of a player in my opinion, but he's also like their little version of, let me just kind of mess with people and plug in and fouls, anything he has to do. And I think that he was brilliant, coming along now that they got him and, helping them throughout the Champions League here. Not to mention that goal he got helping out Mbappe. And I thought that touch was phenomenal, but is it going to be him? Is it going to be Ghana Gay? Is it going to be, I think Paredes would definitely be in there. And then they still have the former Manchester United player, Mr. Herrera, if you will. So they got some interesting options. And I think that one big takeaway is, what does Pochettino decide to do? Do you think that he's going to play Verratti and Ghana Gay in this game? Is it because I think he will set up in a very defensive type of fashion? But not only with that talking point, what does our midfield look like? What does Manchester City's midfield look like? Obviously, we know Kevin's going to be probably, more than likely, we might be looking at a false nine type of situation. I'm not the biggest fan of it, but if we're going to have this false nine, Kevin needs to be up front. If Kevin's going to be up front, then you're looking at, Bernardo Silva in the midfield. You're looking at Ilkay Gundogan. You're looking at Fernan and Rodri. And Pep, I'm telling you this, and I know all Manchester City fans hate this. I'm keeping it all the way a buck with you guys because I know you guys hate this. But, Pep, if you have a thought in your mind about, I'm throwing Ferner and Rodri out there, go with that option. Do not change in the 11th hour. Please do not do that, because I'm not the biggest fan of it either. But one thing I know is that we need to limit Neymar's opportunities. For instance, if Neymar gets that ball centrally 30 yards, 40 yards out from goal, I like the idea of Rodri or Ferner being able to foul him. We have to do technical fouls or, tactical fouls rather. We have to do that. And we can't put all the onus on Rodri to pick up these type of fouls. I can't remember the last time Gundogan probably got like a yellow, tactical foul. So we need people to accumulate fouls. If Rodri starts picking up fouls and yellow cards, he's done. So we need to have Ferner in there to be able to commit a little Brazilian on Brazilian crime, if you will. So, you know what I mean? We have to stop this man. We cannot let this man get the ball center of the pitch and just have different options. You saw what he did to Bayern. I'm not going to even mention when he was driving at them. I think Mbappe was on the right-hand side. And in this moment, and this is where I do not want to see Diaz, Laporte, or Stones, whoever you decide to line up with, the way he was driving at Boateng and Alaba, where he had the ball centrally and he did this move like a swipe on his left side, making Neuer think he was going to shoot, and just laid it off left-footed over to Mbappe. Yo, that's what you talk about real talent. That's what people think about doing special things, but only a few have the moxie to actually pull that off in game. And I show Neymar a lot of love because I respect the guy, but at the end of the day, we need to be able to stop this man from doing it. So Pep, however you choose to line up, and if you decide that I'm going with the Ferner and Rodri thing to start it out with, I'm not the biggest fan of it, but I definitely get it because we have to accumulate these fouls to make sure we stopping him at all costs from running out there on breaks. Nah, we're not going for any of that, none of that. The other interesting thing too with our situation is if he doesn't go with a double pivot situation with Ferner and Rodri, how can we start thinking about utilizing Ilkay Gundogan going forward? The one thing I think is real brilliant, and I don't know how Pep would do this, this is just way out there left field. We have to think about getting Gundogan a little further forward. As I've been looking at the last two matches, Gundogan's making a concerted effort to kind of stay outside the box to be able to support Rodri in defense. But as we know, sometimes Kevin is magical on his left foot. He's magical with assists. But sometimes you just want somebody, and it comes to getting a goal. I like to see my man Ilkay Gundogan, Mr. IG, be able to get up there close to goal. Like Foden, I'm expecting to start. Mahrez, I'm expecting to start. But they're doing it from wide positions. We need somebody centrally to be able to do that. And Ilkay Gundogan is extremely limited if he has to stay back and help. So I don't know how Pep decides to get all of these different players in, but I definitely think he has to find a way to get Gundogan further forward. There are an endless amount of times, especially when Gundogan was in that outstanding stretch of scoring goals. The one thing that he used to do is as soon as the ball was coming out from the keeper and they try to play from the back, he was the first one right there and around 20 yards out to press and get the ball and then create something. But if he's further back, he cannot do that. So that's going to be interesting to see what Pep decides to do there in the midfield. Now, I did allude to the fact that Pep's press conference was rather interesting all within itself. And the reason why I say it was interesting is the fact that he kind of talked a lot about having possession, which worried the hell out of me. I'm like, bro, this possession is cool, but we need to score goals, especially away goals. We need to get away goals. I don't care how you go about doing it, but we need to get away goals. But he kept talking about holding on to possession, limiting their counterattacks, which I thought was good in itself, but it made me think Pep is considering going defensively, and I hope he just switches that and says, you know what, we need to get some goals here, or at least get the train moving in the right direction. Starting lineups, you guys know I never do starting lineups, but I think I've already alluded to who I expect to see playing. The one thing I definitely did a video about previously was Pep's got a decision to make at the back. And I don't know what his decision is, but he was asked earlier about praising John Stones a little bit in his press conference and talking about, is John Stones worthy of an additional contract extension? Which most City fans would say yes, but I thought it was interesting how Pep just was like, yeah, I don't get involved in that, player. Move on. I don't get involved in that. So that kind of lets me know I think he's thinking about going with Laporte. And if he does go with Laporte, I understand that. If he goes with John, I understand he goes with John. I think the most important piece is going to be who's playing the wing, the left back and the right back situation, because obviously I'm thinking Kyle Walker got to be involved, but there's going to be an interesting decision. Does he decide to go with João Cancelo on the left back situation versus Zinchenko? And personally, it has nothing to do with João Cancelo's form recently, but I like the stability that I know that I get with Zinchenko. He's not going to do anything flashy. He's not going to necessarily pick up these wonderful assists. His attributes within the game might even go unnoticed, but I'm fine with that. I don't want somebody getting so far forward, thinking so attack minded, putting crosses in and then be exposed getting back, because Di Maria is going to be looking at that opportunity. I know I covered a lot about Neymar and Mbappe and how special they are, but yo, these guys got some options going forward. I mean, and God forbid, if these guys start getting confident, they start trying flicks and tricks and all of that, that's not what we want to see. So I like that stability that Zinchenko would bring if Pep decides to do that. Obviously, we know Edison starting in goal, so I don't know. We got an interesting test coming up, but I'm really eager to get this game going underway. And I really want to know from you guys, you know, if you guys can help me answer this question. Do you see Pep Guardiola lining up in a very defensive way, you know, with the player selection? Or do you see him coming out the gate and saying we're going to be aggressive offensively? Please let me know what you guys think Pep is going to do, but also let me know what you guys would do. So either way, City, you know I'm rocking with you, bro, because at the end of the day, I've always said on this channel, the Premier League is my bread and butter. We have already shown progression in the Champions League. I did not want to lose in the quarterfinals, but I'm hoping that this team is now ready to ascend and take it a step further. Obviously, we know we made it to the semifinals underneath Pellegrini. Let's try to take that up one notch. We're playing against a quality opponent, and it's going to be fireworks tomorrow. So make sure you have your popcorn ready. The game's going to be over here, 3 o'clock Eastern. I know you guys are watching in other parts of the world, but City, I support you. I love you. Let's get this W. Regardless of whatever, win, lose, or draw, I got your back. But I believe that this team is going to win because it is our time to shine. And then we rise. Cream rises to the top, baby. And that's what we've been doing this year. I know people want to talk about our form and all of this other stuff, but we've already captured some silverware. Let's use that momentum coming into tomorrow. And I'll see you guys right there after this, right after the game tomorrow. So stay tuned. I'm looking forward to a good game. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.